In the last episode of FA-18 construction, I focused mostly on painting, decals and final weathering. Enjoy the video. First, I've painted the jet engine, specifically its exhaust. I've painted the previously masked elements with silver, diluted in a proportion of about 1 to 3. Before assembling the entire exhaust, I decided to change its color slightly. Using heavily diluted gold paint, I gently covered all its parts. Using a thin brush, I painted the shock absorbers in the chassis parts with silver. After that, I painted the flaps edges with red color. I've also painted the elements of the fighter, including the vertical stabilizers, with a bright blue color. After masking, the tailhook used for a landing with the resting cables was painted black. The instruction tells us to use decals here, but I decided to paint this element. I also painted the nozzle of the fighter with radometan. Usually I'm diluting Mr. Color paints in 1 to 3 ratio, therefore I will mention the proportions only when they differ from this value. The same applies to the compressor pressure, as standard 20 psi. I've painted the elements of the fighter with steel color. Then I decided to paint the lights on the vertical stabilizers, first with a silver color, and after it has dried, I applied a slightly transparent red color. I also painted the minor parts of the plane white and proceed to varnish before applying decals. I used the clear gloss varnish number 46. I've noticed that the varnishes from Mr. Color are very thick, so I diluted them in about 1 to 5 ratio. As you can see, the light turned out not too bad. Using ultra glue, I pasted the previously painted parts of the fuselage. I painted the elements of the engine outlet nozzle with silver. And then, using the dry brush technique, I've made them a bit dirty. I glued the exhaust with extra thin glue. After removing the landing gear masking, I've pasted the exhaust with ultra glue and took care of decals. As standard, when working with decals, I used microset and microsol liquids. I put decals on previously varnished elements and then covered the entire model with a thin layer of gloss varnish. I've thinned the paint again significantly and the compressor pressure remained the same. I left the plane to dry thoroughly overnight and started by applying decals the next day. I had no problem with most of decals, only with the one on the vertical stabilizers I had to fight a bit. It has a relatively large surface area and it was very difficult to match it with the elements stamped on the stabilizer. I used microsol fluid about 4 times, each time letting it dry, and after such a treatment I was able to achieve a satisfactory effect. Before sticking the decals with this bird of prey on both sides of the hull, it's worth making small holes in the decal in the place where the pitted tube will be. There are a lot of decals in the set. I could easily record a separate episode. However, I must admit that they significantly improve the appearance of the model, and it's really worth spending these few hours on applying them accurately. As you can see, there are about 50 no-step signs. You have to take my word for it that they were all applied on the model. After all decals were on their places, the entire model was carefully covered with a semi-matte transparent varnish. I decided to paint the slightly transparent lens of the laser detector tracker by mixing transparent blue with a bit of black. It seems to me that it looks more natural after painting. It's time for weathering. Using the AK wash for landing gear elements, I slightly dirty the rims of the fighter's wheels. I also decided to test weathering pencils. I got this set of AK pencils called Metallic Effects. It contains 5 colored pencils in the colors of copper, gold, aluminium, dark aluminium and bronze. These pencils dissolve in water, so after applying to the element you can easily spread the color. I painted the end of the tail hook with burnt iron and I started weathering the plane parts. I was using Tamiya wash dark grey color. On the blue stabilizers I decided to do a light weathering using a dark aluminium colored pencil. On fuel tanks I simulated minor fuel leaks using Ammo by Mick wash. I also took care on the landing gear elements using the AK interactive wash again. And decided to make small scratches on the fuel tanks with an aluminium colored pencil. Using the washes and pencils presented so far, I took care of weathering the entire model. In addition to the above mentioned washes, I also used a wash from AK Interactive to simulate minor leaks. After the weathering, it's finally time to put together the entire plane. All previously painted elements were glued in using ultra glue. This glue is perfect for this type of elements. It doesn't react with the paint, it's completely transparent after drying, and it also dissolves in water, so it's easy to remove it if you make a mistake. After assembling the whole fighter, the only thing left to do is to varnish the model. I applied 2 layers of semi-matte varnish with an interval of about 2 hours. And after it dried, it was time for the last element, exposing the fairing. Unfortunately, my hunches turned out to be correct. The application of cyanoacrylate glue in this case caused the effect you can see. Surely most of you can imagine my irritation at this point. However, please enjoy the final gallery. Overall, I must admit that I am fairly pleased with the effect, except for the fairing, of course. In this case, I can only blame myself. It's true that the fitting of the fairing was tragic and the use of CA glue seemed right, but I know for sure that in the future I will never use this type of glue for any fairing or windshield. To sum up the model and comparing it to the one that I've assembled so far, for example the Tamiya submarine, it must be admitted that the quality and fitting of the elements here are at least one level lower. However, this can be seen as an additional challenge. It's definitely worth to see for yourself and form your own opinion. Although I'm mainly interested in ships, I have to admit that assembling the plane was extremely interesting, and I will definitely come back to this topic in the future. This fairing will surely give me no peace, so it will be time for a rematch sometime. Another conclusion was the need to buy an enamel thinner, mainly in the aspect of working with washes. I am satisfied with the weathering itself, but I know that I can still improve a lot in this area. Ending this series, I would like to thank everyone who are watching and subscribing my channel. Thanks a lot for your support, guys. And all those who have not subscribed yet, I strongly encourage you to do so. Thanks for all the comments, tips and likes. All of this gives me a decent motivation to continue playing and sharing my hobby with you. At the end, I will reveal that in the next series I will return to maritime topics. A ship will enter the workshop, this time a surface warship, but you will find out the details soon. Hang on till next time. Bye.